Coach Berokoff puts his heart and soul into reviving the historic Abe Lemons Classic, and his efforts are beginning to pay off. Today we're talking Abe Lemons as well as Oklahoma City Stars hoops. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. The Oklahoma City Stars head men's basketball coach Mark Berokoff, he's made a commitment to revive the historic Abe Lemons Classic. He's put a lot of sweat equity along with his basketball budget into making this a reality. And this season, it appears the efforts will pay off. We're going to begin by talking about the blue chip field playing in the Oklahoma City Classic this season, the Abe Lemons Classic, as well as Coach Berokoff will then give us an update on this season's Oklahoma City Stars basketball team. You know, they were young last season. They took their lumps. He has almost everybody back, and he's excited to get this season started. Let's take a listen to Mark Berokoff, head men's basketball coach, Oklahoma City Stars. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I got Mark Berokoff. He's a head men's basketball coach at Oklahoma City. They're the Stars. Welcome, Coach. You don't get congratulations till later in the season. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'll take the congratulations. I don't know what that might mean, but we're going to run with that. I love it.
Everybody's getting pretty excited about the Abe Lemons Classic. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about who you have coming, some of the background of it. But before we do that, why don't you talk a little bit about Abe Lemons is? Now, us older guys, we're all pretty familiar with it, but talk about Abe Lemons.
Yeah, so our arena is the court is named after Abe, and yeah. Abe was a coach from 1955 all the way up to 90. He pretty much he played here and was an assistant here, and then took over the program. And he's coached at Pan American, Texas, and then after he coached at Texas, he came back to Oklahoma City. But Abe was one of the first guys to really introduced the fast break in basketball at a time when basketball was slow. Abe's teams were scoring a lot of points. Abe is, I think 499 wins. Oh. I think the best thing, the thing everybody all the older school people that know about Abe is Abe was one of the greatest one-liner guys in the history of basketball. And I guess anytime that he would speak at clinics or anywhere, he was always like, everybody was rolling around laughing because he had such amazing stories and great one-liners. And one of the cool things that I've learned about him being here is at our old arena that no longer is here, but it's the one everybody talks about, Frederickson Arena. They would say in the summer times, because Abe was a big Nike guy, that it would not be unusual to see Abe and Bob Knight sitting on the court talking basketball, or another big name coach talking. What Abe did for this university and this basketball program and the history of this basketball program. When I first took this job, I wanted to bring back this classic. This will be year 2, and it's kind of taken off a life of its own. But it's been great to honor Abe and everything he's meant to this school.
The line that'll always stick in my head is, "Doctors bury their mistakes. Ours are still on scholarship."
Yeah.
And every coach listening gets that.
Yeah. Abe, I'm actually pretty good friends with his daughter, Jan, and some of the stories Jan talks about, and he seemed like an awesome guy. I never got the chance to meet him, but I get to ask his daughter, Jan, a lot of questions, and some of the stories she has are really cool. And I've talked to a lot of the former alumni that have played for him, and they just said it was an absolute blast to play for him.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, and the memories that they have are so vivid, and I always ask the stories because I want to learn as much as I can. So, yeah, the other one is like, a football guy could win 5 games and he's great. Basketball guy wins 5 games and he's out of there. So,
yeah.
we could probably do a whole show on Abe quotes.
Yeah. You have a pretty good card coming. You know, you have I just interviewed Coach Wright over at Langston the other day. He's going to be there. You've got the Masters coming.
Yeah.
They were in the 16 last season. Oklahoma Wesleyan. I mean, a team that is just a perennial Kansas City team, along with Langston, Missouri Baptist, always tough. And then Mission University, and you and I were just talking, and they were Baptist Bible. I believe they're in the American Midwest. Ottawa out of Arizona, a team that was just in the Final Four a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? A Missouri Baptist. Oh, Southwestern Christian. Talk about this field.
Yeah, we're really excited about this field. I think one of the hardest things for coaches is the opening games, or your opening few games, to play really good teams. And if they want to say there's any negative to the Abe Lemons, is that our tournament is always going to be really, really good and with really good teams. So you're going to get tested right away. And you're right. I mean, Ottawa out of Arizona, Tyler Ogen, D1 guy. That program has been really good the last 5 years. Final Four team. Mission University, they've had just a crazy, awesome ride from being, I want to say, an ACCA team to an NCCA team, and now they're NEI. They always have had really good players. Quinn at Southwestern Christian. Don't let the record from last year fool you. I think they brought in a good group of guys. Quinn's a great coach. They're going to have his type of guys this year. Okay, and then we could talk about the Masters. This will be their second year here. You're right. They're always in the Sweet 16, making a deep run. They play in a great conference, well coached. They've got some of the best players in the country. Missouri Baptist, brand new coach Tyler. They're going to be really good. They always are well prepared. And then let's talk about the two big boys, Langston and Oklahoma Wesleyan. Oklahoma Wesleyan, it's great that we get to play them. I'm glad they wanted to play and be in the Classic. They're always really good. Coach Boswick does a great job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they're always going to be really well prepared. That's a very tough second game for us of the season. And then you got Langston, who I think everybody thinks is going to be the number one team in the country. I don't think it. I know they are. Chris and I talk a lot. I think he's excited about his group. And, a lot of people have him number one and the favorite to win a national championship. So to have these type of teams come in your tournament or your Classic for 3 days, I don't think there's a better opening 3 days of NEIA basketball than the Abe Lemons. And I think it's only going to get better and better, with what people see our arena. We give out coaches gifts, free meals for every team. We've got a phenomenal hospitality room. Our media that does our stuff here is first class. I think people are going to really get on board. And I'm not going to say names, but we have other teams for next year that are really interesting that have some historical programs. So I'm long-winded on this, but I'm very excited.
How has it been accepted in the Oklahoma City area? Has the word really got out? Because this is some pretty competitive basketball. Lots of times in these things, it's tough to raise crowds when the quote-unquote home team isn't playing. How has it been accepted so far?
It's been really well accepted, because I'm hearing from a lot of high school coaches about this. Hey, we want to bring our guys because we want to see what the NEI level is like. That the radio stations have been talking about it. People are excited. A lot of our alumni are really excited because of that. We're honoring Abe, number one, but two, that there's a focus again on Oklahoma City University men's basketball. Mm-hmm. Last year it was pretty well attended, attendance wise. I think this year will be even better because you've got Langston, which brings a great crowd. Oklahoma Wesleyan is going to bring a crowd. Southwestern Christian is right down the street. They're going to bring a crowd. It's going to be really good. And again, the last time this thing ran was in 1998. So it's starting to gain ground again. It started in 1995 and it ran for 5 years. And so it's been a long hiatus because we brought it back last year. So that was a long time. But word is starting to get around and people are starting to get really excited about this Classic.
Yeah, that's a good point. You have two really strong Oklahoma schools. Langston isn't too far from Oklahoma City. I don't know my geography that well, but that should really help the draw. That's a good point. And then obviously there are amazing basketball programs, and they're both fun coaches to watch. Even if you're just going to, if you are a fan who enjoys watching coaches, those are two of the funnest coaches in the country to watch.
Yeah. that is a fact, and I will be watching that very closely because it'll be good entertainment.
So, Coach, tell me how this works. So on the 31st are the first two games. You guys are going to play Ottawa, Arizona, OUAZ. Yep. That'll be a real good test for you. Now, the head coach there, Tyler, and I always mess up his last name, Ojanen. He's a first-year coach there, but you knew him from college, or your brother knew him from something like that, right?
It's funny the way it worked because, way before he got the job, they committed to coming. And when he got the job, that's my brother's best friend, Tyler.
Okay.
They were college teammates. After my brother left San Diego State, they went to Cal Baptist, and he and Tyler are best friends. I've known Tyler for a long, long time, so I'm very close with Tyler. It's just strange how it worked out, and the schedule had already been set that we were going to play. I don't think it's ideal that Tyler and I would want to play each other in his first game and our first game of the season playing my brother's best friend. But It's just the way it worked out. But, so the first day will be Mission University against Southwestern Christian, and then Ottawa against us. And then Friday we've got 4 games, and they're shaping up to be really good. And I think the day that everybody's looking forward to it, probably across the country, is Saturday at 1:00, Langston versus the Masters, and that is you're probably looking at 2 top 10 teams in the country, and to get that on your third day of your classic at 1:00 on a Saturday, I think a lot of eyes are going to be watching that, West Coast and the rest. So that's a pretty doggone good basketball game against 2 very, very good programs.
Yeah, Sooner versus GSAC. I mean, and then 2, as you say, top one team made it to the championship game. The other team was a Kansas City team last year. And the Masters is, they've been tough historically. I mean, for a decade longer.
Yeah.
That'll definitely be. How does this work? It looks like it's all one session.
So on Friday, there'll be a game at 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then Saturday, 11, 1, 3, and 5. So it's just a classic format. I would love to do a tournament type thing, but that doesn't, with everybody in their conferences and being able to play different schedules, and more teams can play this and that. The classic thing, like, I guess you could call it more of showcase games, but I mean, 7:00 on Friday night, Oklahoma Wesleyan versus Oklahoma City. You get 2 Oklahoma teams going at it that don't normally play. I'd have to look up the history. I don't know how many times we've actually played each other, but a 7:00 game on a Friday night, Oklahoma Wesleyan versus Oklahoma City is a pretty good matchup for fans to watch, especially here in Oklahoma. So it's going to be a really good 10 games of basketball. I'm so excited for that.
So have you guys made arrangements for video to be available? How will you work that?
We're going to be with Synergy.
Okay.
Obviously a lot of the teams here probably use Synergy. We use Synergy. Film will be available. Live stream will be available. We're going to get an information sheet out on our website next week with all of those details. I'm not going to speak on our live stream on what that process is, but we do live stream, and we will have Andrew Hines will be doing play-by-play for every game, and we will have a sideline reporter for every game that will be doing interviews. So we've got some really cool things in the works for that. And we had BSN just jumped on as a sponsor for us. So they're doing some really cool stuff for us. So there's some really cool, exciting things happening.
Oh, that sounds okay. So you've really got it. That sounds like a really great setup. So who you say BSN is a sponsor? Who else is sponsor? I mean, this is costing you some money.
That's the thing. If anybody's out there listening, what we need is a big-time sponsor. That's kind of this is all being done out of Coach Berokoff and OCU men's basketball's budget, which it's probably not the most ideal thing, but I am so passionate about wanting to honor Abe and bring teams to our arena that this is kind of what I've done. I've used our budget on this. You don't want to know what the cost for referees are, is going to get me, but BSN has jumped on late. They're going to be a good sponsor for us. But yeah, the biggest thing for us is, and we're starting to get out there and people are starting to become interested in wanting to get a sponsor, but we're just needing that one big sponsor. Like it was back in the day here. I mean, I think there was a lot of pizza people that were involved, and there was other
Hmm.
different sponsorships back in the day when this thing was going. But if we can get that one big sponsor, I think this thing takes off to even it just takes off, because I'll tell you what I would love to do. And if there's any old time basketball guys listening, there used to be a thing here called the All College Classic, the All College Tournament. And that brought in some of the best teams in America at the Division I level. Pete Maravich played in this thing. I mean, NBA Hall of Famers. What I would love to do with this classic, and I've already kind of thrown out some feelers. I don't know when this will happen, but I would love in one of these days to have a D2, an NCAA D2 game play. And then my next goal is to get a D1 game here and to have a D1 guy, D2 teams play here, because there's so much history behind Oklahoma City University and Abe that people are interested. I've thrown feelers out there. People are wanting to do it. It's just, can we take that next big step in this while then showcasing the NAI in between all that stuff?
Yeah.
I think it would be a great thing for basketball in general.
Well, I applaud you because I've always been one of those people that believes you got to think big. Little ball never wins you anything. I mean, you gotta think big, and I like the way you think. I mean, you'll get it if you keep pushing. You'll get that done. And anybody listening who knows anybody, maybe a big car dealership in that area. I mean, it could be anything, but a sponsor for this would really, and it'd be great for the area because you got fans and teams coming from all over the country. So it
Yeah,
also
absolutely.
also the
Absolutely.
county. A lot of times the county have tourism boards and stuff. They'll give grants. Somebody might be able to poke into that, but it definitely needs to be supported. And not only
Yeah,
supported,
and
but
I will say the Oklahoma Tourism Board does help us, so they do a great job for it. I love that people are starting to talk about this is the classic. Everybody wants to come to this classic. It's really starting to take a life on its own across the country. I get a lot of coaches ask me about it. It's just we got to get that one next big step for this thing, and once that happens, I think this will be the one everybody in the country is going to want to come to. And, that's my goal. It always was my goal when we first started this thing, and is to bring a level to the NAI that people haven't seen. And I think this year, the last 2 years we've done that, and I think this year is going to be really, really good.
so have you run it? One of the things, because I'm always trying to poke at teams, trying to get them together, try to get cross conference, non conference games going. I think it's good for the NAI, for fans to see people from a different area of the country. One of the drawbacks is the conferences have grown and the number of possible games has cut back. And I find that lots of times that makes it really tough. Have you run into that?
Yeah, I'm running into it right now. We only get 4 non-con games in the Sooner. It's very difficult. I think for our conference right now, it feels like all we're really going to be doing is playing conference games. So when you get 4 non-cons only, for me, the Abe Lemons is really important for me personally for our program, because we get 3 home games out of it. And then we have to go find one more game, but it's very difficult. And it's always tricky when to do your classic. I know if we would have done the classic next week after it, we probably could have had 2 or 3 different teams. You got to pick and choose when to do it. It doesn't always work for everybody,
Right.
and that's the unfortunate thing. But yeah, you're right. There are so many different conferences out there that have so many different. I can play 6 non-cons. I could play 2. For the Sooner, it's 4, which makes it very difficult for us. I know I was listening to Coach Wright talk on your podcast earlier, and he was talking about that. You got to be careful, and you've got to schedule correctly. So with that being said, the Abe Lemons is a great time to schedule correctly, because you could come in here and play teams that are going to help you in the RPI. This is not a RPI. This will not hurt you. This will only help you playing in the A because of how good the teams are in this classic. So you're going to get a good test early, and you're going to get good RPI push right away at the start of the season.
So when that information sheet and when the further details are available, make sure you forward that. I'll forward that out. I know NAI Hoops Report will as well. That'll definitely be available, and we'll share that out, Coach, as soon as you get it.
Yep, outstanding. Yeah, we're going to be working on that on Monday. I just met with my SID about that, and we're starting to get going on that. So we're really excited. I can't believe it's here, but we're starting here in a couple weeks. It's exciting times.
Coach, I want to shift gears just a little bit. Talk about your team this season. You lose your one guy, but it's a big guy. Brandon Jackson, who had a great year last year. He's moved on. But I was going through your roster last night, and you've got, you're one of those guys that's got everybody back. You were really young last year. You kind of took the lumps for it. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. You're right. I think I always tell people, and I'm tired of saying it, but we were probably the youngest team across the country, regardless of level, which, in our league is very difficult to do, play a lot of young guys because our league is so transfer heavy or older guy heavy. And what we did was kind of tough, but we won 5 out of our last 7. We beat 2 nationally ranked teams. We beat Nelson here at home, beat USAO, gave a lot of people a lot of tough games. We beat John Brown. And the nice thing is I get all of these guys are all back. I mean, yeah, we lose Brandon Jackson, which is a big piece. We only had 1 scholarship. We brought in 1 guy. Brandon Wilson from East LA College, who was on Last Chance U on Netflix.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about him. He can score, but he can rebound as well. He's a great rebounder.
Yeah, he gives us a little bit of toughness, and he's played JUCO ball in California. He played for a great coach, and I've been friends with East LA, that program, for a long time, and we finally found the right guy. And but I get the whole team is back. I mean, it's very rare to say that in today's day and age. Every single one of our guys came back. We returned 4 out of our 5 starters. And, what's even better is the next year I only lose 2 guys off of this team.
Yeah, you're not very senior heavy, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited the way we finished. The way we finished is the way we're practicing right now. And the nice thing, too, is last year we were having to do so much teaching early that this year we're just jumping right into things. Like it feels like we went from last practice in late February to we've just started like right now, and it's a good group. They're really a tight knit, close group that really cares about only one thing, which is changing how last season went. And as a coach, you always want to feel good right now about this time of the year. I don't know how the year's going to go, but I've got all the guys back and they're clicking, and this is kind of what we knew last year. It was a tough year. We had to take some tough losses and some tough learning experiences to get to this point now, and I think we're only going to continue to build on that. So I'm very, very excited.
So to put it in perspective for everybody, if you go through last year's scoring sheet, everybody who averaged 10 minutes or more, minus the one, Brandon Jackson, everybody else is back. And you add the
Brandon Wilson. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, but I do have a question. So the big bugaboo last year, you were pretty competitive on the boards. You were good defensively, but you just struggled mightily at the 3. What does that look like this season?
Which is crazy funny to me. If you watch these kids, you get a lot of kids now that say, I want to be in the gym and work on my game. And this is one of the first times that I've had a group that, gosh, boy, last year and this year, they live in the gym. And last year was just tough. I'll tell you what I think it was. A lot of these guys had not ever played the speed of college basketball.
Yeah.
And everything was faster and more rushed. And I think as the season progressed, we got better. Our shooting percentage was not good. You're right. And for a coach that loves the 3-point shot, and I've had teams that have been really good at it. It was hard to watch. I think we looked at it on the analytics side of things. We had, and maybe it's because we didn't shoot the ball well, but we were in one of like the top 15% in the country in open shots and bottom 10% in the country in missed open shots. So it was tough. Mm-hmm. And I think as a staff, we always talked about it defensively. Every single defensive possession seemed like it was the game-winning possession.
Yeah.
Because when you're not scoring, you have to rely on
exactly.
And it's no secret we did not shoot the ball well. Our best shooter, Avery Jackson, had a down year, averaged 15 a game, but it was a down year for him shooting. And I could tell when these guys came back, they've been working on it. They're continuing to work on it. Practice is one thing. We've shot it a lot better in practice. Now, that remains to be seen what happens when those TV lights come on and you put on a uniform. I think a lot of kids change, but I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable the way we're shooting, knock on wood, but, that remains to be seen. But, I talked about Avery Jackson. Avery's 500 points away from being the all-time leading scorer in OCU history. And if you look at the history of this program, that's a pretty doggone good honor. So I'm excited to see if he could come close to it. He's got 2 more years, so we'll see.
Your point about players first getting into that NAI level, struggling shooting. I mean, I've seen that my whole life. Even guys will come and they'll be either great in high school or great at the, the JC level, and they really struggle until they kind of catch up with the speed and the size and the strength of the game, and then it starts getting in their head, they're still young. And then the next year they come out and they shoot the way you expect them. I've seen that so many, many, many times. So if you can just shoot a normal percentage, that's going to up your win number tremendously, because as I said, you rebounded well and you defended well.
Yeah, and we came in 9th, but if we win 2 games different times of the year, we could easily have been a 5th place team in our conference, and that's just how tight our conference is. That a 2-game thing kind of dropped us to 9th and knocked us out one game from being in the the conference tournament. And we always looked at the big picture. We wanted to win last year, but we're like, man, if these guys can just figure this thing out towards the end of the year, which we did, I'm telling you, we won 5 out of our last 7. We were playing really good basketball, and they're all back. And they're all excited, and they have another year of experience, which you're right. You said it best. Freshmen struggle at all levels of college basketball to come in, and a lot of them don't have to play extended minutes. And here we were bringing, we started a freshman at the point guard spot in the Sooner Athletic, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then we brought 3 freshmen off the bench, which in the Sooner is crazy. But we did it, and I think we are going to see the dividends here the next couple of years, because these guys now are battle tested and have played college basketball now. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see their growth.
Going back to your tournament, I mean, you're gonna find out really, really early. You play OUAZ right out the bat on Halloween, and then it doesn't get much easier. The next day you play Oklahoma Wesleyan, and then you play Mission. So you'll really know where you are after those 3 days.
Yeah. Why does whoever the tournament director is that puts that schedule? That's 2 years in a row. We opened up last year with the Masters, Florida College, and now now I've got Ottawa and one of the best teams in the country in Oklahoma Wesleyan. Yeah, not a great scheduling job by the tournament director, but we're going to find out quickly, and that's kind of how Coach Berokoff has always done it. I like to schedule tough. I'd like to find out early what my teams are made of, and we've always gotten better as the season goes along. But yes, 3 really tough games for us to open up in, and it's exciting. And also, I'm a little nervous.
I know I'm excited for this tournament to happen. I'm going to be in Helena when you play that tournament. I'm going to go. There's a 4-game tournament in Helena at Carroll that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But I'll be paying close attention to this as well as all NAI fans across the country.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that we get a lot of our information out there. Somebody is going to be running all of our social media accounts and giving live updates as we go. And
great.
We'll make sure that we get the right people seeing the right information, and we appreciate all the information that you do for us and pushing out our stuff. And again, thank you for allowing me to come on and talk about the Abe Lemons. It's something that has become very special to me. And I have learned to really, really love the history of Oklahoma City University, and being able to bring these great coaches and teams to the Abe Lemons, and they're all excited about this. So I'm pumped, man. I can't believe it's almost here, and we're excited.
Well, it was my pleasure, and I really appreciate you taking the time, Mark, to talk the Abe Lemons Classic as well as Oklahoma City basketball. Wish you the best of luck. We look forward to talking to you during the season. We can talk about how you're doing in that Sooner conference. It's going to be a tough conference.
Yeah, conference is loaded. Every team looks really good. But, yep, looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
That's Mark Berokoff. He's the head men's basketball coach, Oklahoma City University. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, please like and subscribe this show wherever you watch or listen to it. It helps a lot. And if you have a question you'd like answered on the show, just send me a note at cascadehoopstalk@gmail.com or just shoot me a DM on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next time. Yours truly, Billy D. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAI school because NAI basketball is the best entertainment value in America.